guys, welcome back to Teal House Farm. We're doing some canning this evening. Just making some broth because I actually am very low, and that's definitely a pantry staple. It should never be low on. So I purposely put a whole chicken on the menu this week so that today there is a carcass left over, so I can go ahead and make some chicken broth with the chicken and then all the vegetable skin scraps I've been saving. It's been a long day. Well, not a long day, not a bad day. Just we had therapies this morning for Annie. We did some shopping in town and it was pouring all day, which makes going anywhere with all the kids really hard because there's no way to not get soaked. Getting everybody in the van and out of the van and safely into a store in an organized fashion. So I'm cold and wet, but that's okay. We're gonna make some broth today. And I wanted to have a chat. I know there's several of you who watch our channel who have come into before when we talk about our struggles of raising a child that's got some pretty specific special needs with your experiences. And I always enjoy learning from others. I think there's so much in this life, especially in the modern world, that we miss because one, we don't really do life together that often, and two, I think a lot of the struggles that people experience, like physical struggles, they're less common today than maybe they were in the past. I mean, if you think about it, you know, the rate of child mortality today is very low. I was listening to a podcast specifically about disabilities, like physical disabilities. And it said in the pre-modern world, so like before 1900, maybe 1850, like the vast majority of people had some sort of physical disability by the time they were an adult, like an older adult, which would be like my age, because of how difficult life was on their bodies and how scarring disease was on their bodies. So I think with those things and other things that go hand in hand, I think a lot of times in the special needs community, it feels really isolating because you feel like nobody understands. There's not really, got it? There's not people to really help outside of the medical people who you don't see that often, when you only see them for like 20 minutes at a time. And so you spend a lot of time like wrestling with yourself and your own thoughts and trying what to do. So anyway, today, we were at therapy and I've been thinking this for a little bit, but I really thought it today. They were talking about a new therapy they want to try for Annie, and it's called constraint-induced, something that the letter M stands for, therapy. So CIMT. And what they do is for kids who have issues using one hand, so Annie has a normal hand and a hand that doesn't work very well, they make them put away the good hand, the good arm. Sometimes it's even as extreme as that arm is casted, so they can't use it at all. Like they put it in a cast, like they broke it. Then they have to live life using the weaker hand, which the way brains work, right? Like if you have to use it, it's going to increase those connections in the brain and you'll get better at using it. It will never be as good as your other hand probably, but you'll get better. We aren't going to do something as extreme as casting. If we do, we would do like a removable splint that she would wear a couple hours a day. You do it for 6 to 8 weeks. And the idea is when they're young and their brains are really plastic, and she's now at an age where she's old enough to understand why we're doing it, and it's not just frustrating to her, it would probably benefit her a lot. But they were talking about that, and I felt really conflicted, and I've been feeling lately conflicted just about at what point as a parent, as a special needs parent, does it go from pushing your child, encouraging them to be the best they can be, to you're just pushing your child and not letting them enjoy their childhood?
I think every parent, you want the best for your child, but the question starts to come down to, how much of my child's childhood, but the question comes down to is a 5% improvement worth hours and hours and hours of her childhood? I'm not saying it would be a 5% improvement. I'm just saying, at what point do you say enough is enough and we're just gonna let it be what is, just let it be what it is, so that she can enjoy being a child? And there also comes a point too where you wonder, at what point do we start giving her some more bodily autonomy. I mean, at some point she is going to be an adult and she needs to be able to say yes or no about her body and what she wants to do. And unfortunately, in the special needs world, it's a lot of mom, dad, doctors, therapists telling you what to do. And unlike other children who learn better, you know, their bodily boundaries and things, gets kind of lost because you spend a lot of time being told that you need to do this or you need to do that. And at what point does it become her choice? If you've been following along, you know that this has been a kind of a rough year for Annie because we decided to do a really big surgery. She had to relearn how to walk. It turned out, I mean, it was a very good decision as far as her long-term prognosis is keeping her independent mobility. I don't regret that at all. But then that's been followed up with an incredible amount of therapy. About 10 hours a week for 6 months, so 5 times a week, 2 hours a day. And then we have gone down to 3 times a week for the next 6 months. But still a lot. I mean, if you figure how much of her life that is, how much, you know, basically every day her whole afternoon is taken away and we go to therapy. It's an incredible commitment. She never complained about it. She loves therapy. They make it really fun. But it does steal a lot of independent play and exploration. That's an important part of childhood. And so we've been doing all that, and now they're talking, you know, maybe wanting to do this constraint therapy. And I want to do what's best for her. I want her to have the best, you know, prognosis long term. Best functional use of her hands. I mean, I realize, even just now as a child, that one-handedness, it makes a lot of things more difficult. I mean, try putting your jacket on and buttoning it or zipping it with one hand. It's, you know, she figures out how to do most things, but there's some things that you just need 2 hands for. It's just the way the world is going to work. But, you know, that's a big commitment for her and for us. It's more therapy that's taking away some of her independence in order to hope to eventually increase her independence. And I feel like we just did that. We've just been through that with her legs, and we want to do that again for her arms. You know, I don't want her to become an adult and look back and say, you know, mommy and daddy, they pushed me really hard to be something I was not meant to be, to have skills that I just wasn't going to learn, and it stole a lot of my childhood from me because all we ever did was go to the doctor. All we ever did was go to therapy. You know, I want her to look back and say, my mommy and daddy, they encouraged me every step of the way. They worked hard for me. We did the best we could, but they never tried to force me to be something that I wasn't meant to be. So I guess what I'm asking, if you've been here before, at what point did you just say, because you have to get to that point eventually, even if it's not till your child's 18 and they age out of everything, but that, you know, enough is enough. Not that we never go to therapy or see a doctor again. That's not what I'm saying. Not that you like totally drop off the face of the earth. Just all the really like intensive stuff, the always doing new things to try to make it better, things that take a lot of time, take a lot of your child's energy. Like when do you just say, you know, what is? When do you just say what is what is, and it's okay the way it is, and we're going to enjoy life the way it is, and we're going to spend a lot of time together as a family and not in waiting rooms anymore, not trying new things that may or may not help, because there's stress that comes with that, and there's disappointment for both, you know, you and your child with things that don't work, that don't make things better, you know. And when do you say, you know, my child gets to make that decision, if we're going to do this or not? I guess those are just the things that I've been struggling with today, but really for the last few weeks. Part of it is just because I'm probably really tired. The therapy commitment after the surgery is huge, and we're 8 months post-op, but we're not even quite halfway. The commitment is an 18-month commitment, and again, it's done wonderful things for her, but I feel like it's also stole some time away from her childhood, right? And my other kids' childhoods,
because they have to come with us everywhere too. And, you know, how busy mommy and daddy are impacts how much time we have for them as well. So it definitely affects the whole family. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you all. Hope you're having a great fall, and we will talk to you all really soon. Say bye. Say bye. Say bye.